sense of it in our scene Leave the Bottle.
E agora estamos ao vivo. Fala pessoal, mais um episódio aqui de Silent Hill Ascension e a gente tá indo pro 7º dia agora. Dessa vez começou 11 horas da noite no horário de Brasília, né? Não sei se vai ter um grande acontecimento aí, mas é isso aí, bora ver, eles estão ao vivo aqui falando. Isso daqui não é o episódio ainda, é o que aconteceu no último. Acho que eles estão transmitindo o último episódio antes de começar o próximo. Eu acho que esse é o último já. O último do episódio passado. Do dia passado.
The thing is, I think someone else did it. Who? I don't know. There was something on the farm that night.
Have you told Hogan this?
She'd think I was crazy.
Carl, you have to tell the police immediately. If you don't do it, I will. I've got a friend down at the station and...
I don't think I should make more trouble.
Any more than you're already in.
I just wish Ingrid was here. She'd know what to do.
She'd tell you to listen to your friend.
Só stickers e emojis estão permitidos mandar aqui.
Not wasted on a wreck like me.
Don't let that
Cara, fico me perguntando se teve alguém que gastou muito dinheiro com essa série. Deve ter, né? Porque tá aí, ó.
And welcome everybody. If you haven't seen that scene yet, I hope you enjoyed it. Or if you have, I hope you enjoyed rewatching it. Layla, what was a highlight for you from that scene that was kind of a softer undertone?
See, the whole thing about the Johansons, right, is that we are tossed right into the middle of a family tragedy that doesn't seem to be the first.
Ele perguntou, assim, mais ou menos qual que é o ponto da cena.
For the first little bit, we really didn't see them interacting with anybody outside their family, so this was the first time we see kind of a newcomer. And it's interesting, right, because it seems like maybe this is Carl's only friend, and I find that kind of striking.
I mean, that's the thing. Well, I mean, speaking of, friends, and a horrible segue into the decision, but one of the things is, who's friends with Toby?
Aumentar
It's
pouco,
Eric.
não tô conseguindo ouvir
Now,
direito.
that's actually the decision that's closing today. Our production team's going to throw that on screen for you, and Layla's actually going to read that for you, let you know what's going to actually play out very soon.
Yeah, I got a little live update. So it is closing today. We have our 3 choices for Toby are to beg, manipulate, or threaten. And right now, it was more neck and neck earlier. Actually, it seems like beg gang is kind of winning out. So if you're
Ela tá falando das escolhas e que
trying to get Toby to really use his height and tower over his friend,
das porcentagens e tal, que tem um pessoal
it's time to rally, folks, and
mais pro lado das ameaças dessa vez.
Well, because that's one of the things, is these decisions actually play out until the very end. Once the scene plays, it is locked in, but until the moment that scene plays, until you see that on screen, you can change the outcome. So when it is close like this, all of you can gang up if you want to change how things are, especially when the decisions are getting closer.
Ele tá falando assim que, pô, mesmo se estiver vendo em tempo real, se vocês todos se juntarem, vocês podem mudar algo, como tá indo a história.
We're going to talk about decisions that were made in Redemption. Spoiler: Redemption won by a lot in a lot of these scenarios. But it's getting close. Now we have Redemption and Damnation being neck and neck in a ton of these decisions.
That's true. I find it very interesting that our dear audience isn't as interested in suffering, right? Because there is some opportunity there to get a little delicious with the narrative. But if it's going to be Redemption versus Damnation, I do also love a game of extremes. So I'm curious to see.
Eles estão falando sobre como as decisões estão mais balanceadas agora, né? Tá mais equilibradas as escolhas. O pessoal tava escolhendo muita redenção. A maioria das escolhas aqui, ó, é sempre redenção, ó. Isso daqui, ó, já tá mais equilibrado. Culpar o homem na janela. Aqui também, ó. Tá bem mais equilibrado. Aqui já foi mais redenção, mas ainda tá equilibrado, ó. Aqui é só escolha de personagem, né? Não tem Mas eles estão falando sobre isso, porque nos primeiros dias tava só redenção. E era o que eles esperavam, né? Vamos lá, acho que falta
I
10
think.
minutinhos pra começar.
And then Rachel, in the meanwhile, begins to see monsters, and her husband Eric take their little daughter Faith to the Foundation building for refuge. Now, Eduardo, you and I have talked about this scene a bunch of times, and I still stand by my point, which is listen, maybe we don't take our children to the pyramid-shaped self-improvement group, but if you're going to take your child somewhere to wait it out, a Pennsylvania brownstone is a pretty good way to go.
No, and that's the thing, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? You're physically threatened, so you go to the building that you believe will physically hold in the demons that live and the monsters that live inside of you. Essentially, as you have to fight, I don't know though if how solid an argument that may end up long term, but hey, it makes sense.
Cara, eu queria
to
muito
go
que
after
eles
all,
explicassem como é que funcionam os monstros aparecerem. Simplesmente os monstros aparecem assim. Tem alguém que tá meio que mentindo, se sentindo culpado, pô, aparece o monstro. E é isso. Não tem uma explicação assim.
the iconic line.
Yeah, Girly does not pull any punches, and I respect that. I feel like I've seen a lot of the folks when it comes to psychological scenes. There's a desire to wax poetic. I really enjoy just kind of cutting to the point and saying burn it all down. Like, yeah, Girly Pop, if you're gonna appear after you die, sure, get to the point. We don't know how much time you have.
And the funny thing for me is the audience is responding, right? We have half the audience that's like, you know what, let's chill a second, let's not have Toby burn everything down. And the other half's like, yeah, let's go, let's see it burn all down. And it really comes.
Cara, eles estão falando que tem metade da audiência querendo que vá tudo pro. Que queime a casa. Queime tudo abaixo aí. E a outra metade meio que tá colaborando com a redenção, né? Que seria as escolhas boas, assim. Nem sempre boas, mas. Não sei se sempre leva a escolhas boas, mas redenção geralmente é pra esse lado.
But you will see it quite soon. Now, actually, we have a decision closing today. How are we doing on that, Layla?
What's
Fala The Games Brothers. Então, cara, a série tá começando a ficar interessante agora. Tem bastante defeito. Tem muito defeito mesmo, assim. Eu acho que eu vou fazer um vídeo, talvez um mês depois, 2 meses, não sei, 3, sobre o começo da série. Ou então sobre os primeiro mês, não sei, mas a série não tá... Assim, na gringa tá sendo bastante criticada porque não parece Silent Hill. Tá uma coisa bem... muito rushada, os personagens morrem mesmo antes da gente se importar. Os monstros aparecem assim... do nada, ainda não entendi como é que funciona a aparição dos monstros, né? E... as animações estão meio mal feitas. Assim, quando a gente fala de mecânica, não tem nada assim que a gente já tenha visto, entendeu? Por exemplo, todo esse sistema de decisão aqui, numa série em tempo real, as interações que aparecem em tempo real dentro, que a gente tem que apertar, não sei o que, arrastar pro lado, pro outro, pra fazer os pontos de influência, um Game Pass aqui dentro de uma série interativa, entendeu? Isso daqui não existe em lugar nenhum, foi só aqui. Eu acho que futuramente, quando vierem outros projetos, assim, não só de Silent Hill, mas de qualquer outro jogo, qualquer outra franquia, isso daqui pode ser melhorado de uma forma pra ficar muito bom, mas a salada de estúdios que eles estão fazendo agora com Silent Hill faz com que eles façam projetos assim, às vezes sem pé nem cabeça, né? E esse daqui eu acho que tá caminhando pra se tornar um. Porque a série tá começando a ficar interessante agora, mas nem parece Silent Hill, assim, parece que eu tô vendo outra coisa.
Her mother's care at a point where, well, she's already kind of kicked the bucket.
Yeah, it's a bit late to check in, I think, Astrid. Maybe we should have been checking in a little bit earlier. I don't know what she's up to in her life. Maybe, who knows, who's to say, work, children, you get busy as an adult. But yeah, listen, as somebody who's had family members that have emergent medical needs, right? I checked in. It's pretty up to date. So it is a little bit.
Tem também aquele ponto de que não parece tanto, não passa tanto feeling de Silent Hill, né? Porque você joga Silent Hill e eu até falei isso no meu vídeo, você se sente solitário ali, explorando, imerso na cidade e tudo mais. Isso aqui não assim, Não tem cidade, entendeu? É só os monstros e a maldição nas cidades, das respectivas cidades aí de cada família.
But one of the things that is interesting to me is that kind of parallel between life and death, right? Obviously, Ingrid's passed away, but a lot of the plot also centering around Orson. And one of the things for you fans at home that might have missed it is we had an interview with Stefan Bugay last Friday, who talked about generational family trauma. And one of the things here is somebody has passed away, but Layla, I mean, Astrid has to protect those who are alive, essentially, still.
Yeah, I think that should be probably priority number one. You know, as we say, if you've lost someone, you know.
Estão falando sobre a Astrid e se ela deveria proteger o pessoal que tá vivo, né?
But yeah, it seems like it's not a great time for her son to also be a handful, considering the death of the mother. Also, not a great time for him to be, as he did, like barging into the room where the corpse is. Don't know how many funerals you've been to, but as a child, that was not like a fun sight for me.
Cara, inclusive, uma coisa curiosa. Antes de sair qualquer coisa sobre Silent Hill Ascension, né? Tinha saído uma sinopse assim que tava saindo em todos os portais de que seria uma criança que foi morta de um jeito que ninguém sabe o que. Como, né? E tem a família da matriarca, da senhora lá que morreu, que são os Johansson. E tem a Hernandez, que é da criança, né? Só que até agora não teve criança morta ou desaparecida, sei lá. Teve a Joy. E eu acho que essa criança, entre aspas, seria a Joy, né? Só que aí tava sendo divulgado como uma criança, então eu cheguei até a colocar isso no meu vídeo. Não sei, né? Vamos ver se vai ter uma criança ainda. Mas aparentemente é a Joy no primeiro episódio, que ela morre e ninguém entende como, tem todo um contexto, né?
And one of the things here, right, that's important with these Endura streams, scenes, is if a character fails in enough of them, they may not survive future encounters as their hope goes down, and that may actually lead to their permanent death in the story. So if you really like a character and are trying to redeem them, make sure to keep their hope up. These endurance scenes are a big thing that allows you to do that, as well as the mindfulness puzzles. Now, that said, one of the nice parts about being live, and trust me, you're going to see the show live very soon. It's in about 2 minutes.
3 minutos.
This is one of the best places to earn large amounts of influence points, and also forget
Eu acho que a gente deve ter alguma coisa maior hoje, não sei. É o 7º dia.
It's not a judgment on you. It's essentially a way for us to determine what is going to end up happening to these characters.
That's right. And as Eduardo mentioned, we are just a couple minutes away from the show. So would you like to recap us on all we've done here?
Of course. So one of the big things here is we've gone through almost a week of story so far. You've seen
eles falando que eles querem recapitular o que aconteceu até agora. Estão falando que teve uma semana de história, 55 minutos mais ou menos ali.
Very fast and rapidly as delusions and monsters were abounding in the presence of many of the characters there. On the other side in Norway, the intrigue is building up a little more slowly as the Johansson family is dealing with the death of Ingrid and the aftermath coming from that. Now, all that said, the show is going to start soon. After the show, we will be back, both Layla and myself. But at the end of that,
talvez a gente assista essa entrevista depois, não sei. Eu acho legal, gostei da última, porque eles falam bastante sobre o projeto. Aí dá pra ter uma noção do que vai acontecer.
In the meantime, we're about less than a minute away from our show. So it's time for myself, Eduardo, and Layla to sign off, let you enjoy that. We will see you right after. We hope you have an amazing time, and we'll see you soon. Take care for now.
Tá. Cara, por que será que não deixam escrever, né? Ela tá com medo de tomar hate, será? Obrigado por ficar ligado no nosso show. Tá. Eles vão voltar depois de quando a história aparecer, né? Acho que 1 minuto. 1 minutinho, já vai começar. Tá, lembrando as escolhas aqui, né? Polícia sobre a morte de Ingrid. Como Toby reagirá à morte de Joy. No caso, a gente já viu ele reagindo, né? Agora é a resposta dele pra isso. Continuo perdendo. Informações de Eric, Rachel. Tá, isso daqui eu acho que é o mesmo ritual que ela fez com a Joy, só que eu vou fazer com ela. Não tenho certeza. Mas vamos lá, começou.
Are you okay?
We need to do the ritual as soon as possible. It's getting worse.
Have you decided who will be helping you perform the ritual?
I
Krista.
want Krista to do it.
É.
What?
I want you to perform the ritual on me.
Mano, é tudo que ela sabe. Fala, what?
I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but
É Krista,
are
what?
you okay?
Yeah, we don't agree on much, but maybe that's what we need. Sometimes a little friction can be a good thing.
Okay. Fine.
Now, if that's all, I'd like to speak to Rachel alone. Rachel, during our investigation into Joy's death, you seemed uncertain of things.
Well, between Joy and the visions,
Don't be. I spoke with Xavier. He told me your story. You've overcome a lot. You can stop all of this.
Aqui acho que eu
You are
perdi
special.
também a decisão.
I just need
67%
you
da
to
comunidade
believe
escolheu porque tive dúvidas, mas não lembro se foi isso que eu escolhi, acho que não.
Good girl. Now then, tell me more about your daughter.
E agora os
How's it so
Johansson.
quiet without Orson here? You really were serious about keeping him away
Eu
from
não
me.
aguento mais esse cara, velho.
Yes,
Meu Deus.
and it will remain that way
You're
until...
sure I'm innocent?
Have you thought about what you're going to tell Detective Hogan about what happened to Mama?
I'm sure you have an opinion.
Yeah. Deny it. All of it. I don't want to lose you too.
Tá, vamos culpar o homem na janela,
Yeah.
beleza.
I talked
Foi
to
o que a gente
Grace,
escolheu.
told her what happened.
Is she coming back home?
I begged her, but she's still so angry. I think it would mean a lot if you reached out.
I doubt she would listen to me. She hates me almost as much as she hated Mama. It just makes me angry, you know? Her mother is dead, and her own father has to beg her to come home. Maybe I'll call just to give her a piece of my mind.
Please don't do that. We've all been through so much
Ela
already.
falou Astrid.
I just wish she hadn't left us when she did.
Astrid é
But
filha
I get
dele?
why she did it.
Maybe tell her that. She would appreciate it.
I don't know. She'd probably think I was patronizing her.
Try. For me. And your mother. I just want to see you sisters close again. You'll regret it if you don't.
Tá, isso daqui é uma nova, né? Postura de Astrid em relação a Brit no funeral. Dar um sermão e implorar que venha Astrid.
Eric! You here?
Não, eu confundi as personagens, tá?
Toby, what are you doing here?
I wanted to talk to you.
About what?
I need your help.
Yeah, sure.
I heard there was some kind of meeting at the Foundation.
You know I can't talk about that stuff with you.
Please. I think it has something to do with Joy.
I don't know, man. Rachel's not good.
What do we have to do? Beg? Look, man, I'm not
Cadê
in
a
a good
legenda?
place right now. And you're the only friend I got left. So just, please,
Tá, ele quer entrar
help
no...
me out here.
Participar da reunião, a
Ok.
Rachel não vai gostar,
Ok.
mas aí ele tá pedindo pro
But you
amigo
gotta
ajudar.
get some help, man.
Cadê a
Rachel's
legenda?
not gonna want me hanging out with you anymore. There's this ritual they're asking Rachel to prepare for.
What kind of ritual?
They don't tell me much.
When is it?
Tomorrow night.
Tá, ele tá falando o que vai ser,
Thanks.
o que eles vão fazer, né? Eles vão fazer o
Wait,
ritual e tal.
what are you gonna
E
do?
o cara
Toby!
agora tá sabendo.
Toby! Rachel, the Foundation, this never-ending goddamn fog.
Porra, não é possível, pera aí. Dá um reload aqui pra ver se aparece. Tá, apareceu agora.
Boy?
Ele já tá no mundo invertido. Não, acho que não é mundo invertido, é só... Sei lá. Enfim, dá pra saber o que é, né? As coisas que acontecem nessa série. Parece mundo invertido já.
What's wrong?
Oh shit.
It's not like you've never seen this before. Remember?
No,
Ela tá cheia de agulha.
You were too drunk to even help me.
Meu Deus.
What do you want from me?
Answers! Justice! Blood!
É que eu acho da hora essa parte. Esse personagem é o que tá mais interessante até agora na série. Tá, segredo revelado. Agora eu acho que a gente vai pra interação. Pra parte interativa. Decida agora. Aqui. Ser compreensiva, dar um sermão, e aí? Eu vou dar o sermão porque eu quero caos. 400, 600, vou dar um lance de 800 aqui. Esse daqui já voltei. Tá, é só essa daí, por enquanto. Tá, agora a gente tá na parte interativa. Mesma coisa de sempre. Agora que a gente erra tudo. Eu comecei errando já. Não, não errei, né? Só
What is that?
errei. Pensei que era de apertar. Mano, é... Tá. Beleza. Pô, é sempre... É sempre a mesma coisa, né? E a comunidade continua errando aqui, ó. Agora tá diferente, não sei nem quem é essa. Enfim, acho que é uma... É porque o pessoal que tá assistindo a série tem gente que consegue participar, entendeu? Deve ser um coadjuvante aí que tá assistindo a série. Só que o avatar das pessoas, porque todo mundo tem um avatar, né? Tipo esse daqui. Tem um concurso de cameos aí que dá pra... Essa é a parte mais Silent Hill da série inteira e ainda assim é... Sei lá. tem que parar de colocar tanta empresa pra fazer... Pra mexer em Silent Hill. Coloca só uma, cara. Pega. Não! Não! Ai! Isso, 3 seguidas errado. Ainda bem que depende da comunidade, não de mim. Tá, a aprovação tá positiva. Meu Deus, apertei sem querer. Ai. Tá. Olha o homem barato aí. Agora pisando nessa porra. Aí, rapaz. Pega. Eu odeio quando é tocar porque não consigo. Meu dedo tá lento. Tá. Conseguiram pôr uma barrinha de nada. Tiveram esse. Vamos ver se vai ter mais história agora. Mais ainda? Cara, é isso que não dá pra entender. Eita, do nada foi... Que isso? Hackearam a série. Do nada foi pra um super fracasso aqui. Ó, um outro coadjuvante das cameos aí. Quem sabe eu apareço algum dia. Como essa moça aqui. Tá, voltou ao normal, né? Quando tá meio... Eu não consigo, tá? Tocar eu já desisti. Mano, que isso, velho? Tá louca a barra de... Tá, consegui dessa vez.
I have find a way out.
Dá um F5 aqui de novo, que tá... Acho que tá bugado, mano. Nossa. Ai. Mano, olha esse cachorro se batendo. Que merda é essa? Ih, falharam. Acabou? Não, não acabou. Agora é o diabo. Rapaz. Muito, todos os objetos jogados e os barulhos feitos. Ah, adiantou, né? Adiantou. Mano, olha o fio. Não teve êxito. Ixi. Lembrando que isso aqui não é que o personagem vai morrer, tá? Na primeira vez que teve isso daqui, apareceu, o personagem não sobreviveu. E a gente, tipo, o pessoal pensou que tinha matado já um personagem. Mas não é, acho que eles erraram, sei lá. Aí agora mudou pra não teve êxito. Ele diminui a esperança do personagem aqui, ó. Menos esperança. Eu ainda não entendi direito o que é essa esperança, mas vou atrás de entender. Vamos ver se tem mais coisa aí. Talvez já tenha acabado, não sei. Ah, acabou. Agora vai começar o pós-show, que é a entrevista. Bora ver, eu vou tentar traduzir aqui um pouco, ver o que eles falam sobre o futuro do projeto e do episódio. Pô, eu esperava que fosse mais coisa hoje, 7º dia e tal, 1 hora depois do horário normal. Enfim, eu vou colocar mais pontos aqui em dar um sermão para eu pegar a recompensa. Resgatar. Geralmente é um cosmético. Pra eu colocar no meu personagem. Não, item. Emoji. Se liga no... Não, olha só. Olha isso aqui. Cadê? Onde que... Aqui. R$100. 50. Por pontos de influência, que é onde tu coloca as escolhas, mas acho que também comprou o passe. Eu não compraria o passe pra isso daqui. Eu não sei nem se daqui a 2 meses vai estar... Sei lá. É uma coisa que vai acabar em 6 meses. Por que eu vou comprar um passe pra uma coisa que eu sei que vai acabar em 6 meses? Ou eles pretendem, né?
Overtook Redemption, but just slightly. It's
Continuar
really
com o
close
projeto.
on what Toby is going to do with 2 days left. We're all really excited on the development teams to see what happens, and I can't imagine what you, the audience, are expecting.
Minha nota pra esse episódio.
I'll keep it a secret what I'm rooting and tooting for, but for sure, we're definitely watching it because we genuinely have no idea.
Ah, sei lá. Eu acho que
sometimes it's the thing we don't expect, but so far it's not suffering, which I'm finding very interesting.
4.
Oh no, for sure,
Talvez
right? It's that
menos.
battle between redemption and damnation, moving into week.
A série em si tá uma série nota 5, 6.
for us. But speaking of you, the audience building the story, one of the things is we want to talk about.
E assim, tá? Eu amo Silent Hill, e é por isso que eu tô dando essa nota.
You saw it had a few of you, the audience, in them. As Layla, if you could present that and how it works. And actually, we have a deadline coming too soon.
We do. So you can take part in cameo contests every day and be an extra in Silent Hill Ascension. Cameo
Deixa eu ver aqui, ó.
Close every.
Cadê o...
Right now it is.
Deixa eu pegar aqui. Semanais. Não tem nada. R$100 o passe pra pegar emoji, roupa pro personagem. Moldura. Olha esse personagem aqui. Olha isso aqui. Não é nem bem feito esse personagem, ó. Se fosse um gráfico de ponta, pelo menos, acho que era o mínimo pra uma série. Cadê os cursos de cameo? Concurso. Isso aqui são os minigames, mas não é isso. Eu não sei onde tá, mas... Aqui eu acho, tá aqui. Bilhete, só que tem que comprar, eu acho. Não. Eu compro com pontos de influência, né? Eu tenho 14 mil, podia colocar os bilhetes aqui. E aí se eu for sorteado, né? O sortudo, meu personagem aparece no meio da série. Mas sei lá, nem sei se eu quero que apareça nisso. Não, brincadeira, não odeio a série. Mas...
Now, although Astrid would like the whole family to be together, she still harbors resentments against Britt because of their past egregious behavior. So no matter what, it is a tense conversation, as often does families do too. And now Astrid has to figure out how to approach it. Now the thing is, the way Astrid figures out is you, the audience at home, doing so.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing I'd like to call out is, in a family rife with murder and lying, what the bar for egregious that gets you kind of excommunicated from this group, right? Because
ela tá falando do Carl que matou e mentiu e...
I like the yet. By the way, this is great at home. You got the evidence here. It's the yet. It's to come. It's soon to be. There just hasn't been a good enough reason so far.
A falta de comunicação entre eles, tipo isso.
That's the thing. You just need the excuse, and you need it yet, like future telling. But I mean, if we're talking about deaths, I personally hope those aren't the last ones we see. After all, we are in a horror series. But that's the thing is, you're right. What Britt has done, I believe, will probably be quite important and something the audience should watch, look forward to at home. We don't want to spoil anything, but Layla, things to look forward to here.
So many things. One, the deaths. How did they happen? Two, what is this egregious behavior we're referencing? Sure would like to know. What was the creature in the window? There are so many questions that I have, and I'm sure the audience has as well.
Eles estão falando sobre o mistério da série, né? Que eles têm muitas perguntas. O cara questionou como que, tipo, e as mortes e tal. Sem querer spoiler, né?
That's for sure. And one of the things is, while it is a lot of information, we're still asking you, the audience, to provide even more here. Our production team is going to actually throw the decision that has appeared today on screen as Layla walks.
Eu queria muito saber o quanto de audiência caiu do primeiro dia pra cá.
So for today, it's how will Astrid handle Britt missing the funeral? Will she lecture her as older sisters do? Will she beg her to come?
Eles estão falando sobre como a Astrid vai reagir à irmã mais velha, né, a Britt, não ter aparecido no funeral.
We've kind of talked about this briefly when we saw this choice the first time. Is the nice thing in this situation is not actually the kind thing.
No, and that's one of the things, right? Is like, it's interesting that being understanding is what's leading down to damnation.
Eles estão falando que, pô, a parada legal não é ser legal, entendeu?
Are you, by being understanding with the person who was egregious, that leads you down the damnation path? Kind of interesting, but you know.
Por isso que eles estão falando assim, pô, tu vai ser, vai entender a pessoa ter faltado o funeral da própria mãe. Por isso que eu coloquei dar um sermão, né? Acho que é isso. Eu quero ver o caos, mano. Quero ver o caos.
Yeah, consider, ponder, or, take the Chaos Goblin route and just press the button that appeals to you the most in that moment because you're curious as to, again, what is the egregious behavior when we contextualize it against murder or potential murder, excuse me. And, God knows, who knows what Astrid is up to at this point, right? Like, we've seen the way Ingrid behaves, we've seen the way Carl behaves. Astrid, what are you hiding, right? Like, at this point, this family is full of surprises and not the good kind.
No, I mean, like, that's one of
Eles estão falando sobre a família, que eles não são boa pinta. Ela tá questionando aí o que a Astrid possa estar escondendo, né? E eu não sei, eu nem esperava que ela fosse escondendo alguma coisa. Será se ela foi ela que matou a véia? Já pensou?
One of the things in the pre-show that we discussed was actually the story so far in Norway, and we're actually going to rediscuss that so to make sure that everybody is up to speed. But we're going to look at it through the lens.
Pessoal que estiver entrando agora, já acabou o episódio, tá? Então se vocês quiserem voltar aí, meio que eu tô vendo aqui só a entrevista após o episódio e tentando extrair informações aqui.
Absolutely. So as we said in the pre-show, Astrid discovers that her mother Ingrid has died.
Mas a gente pode bater um papo também sobre o que vocês estão achando da série. Vocês devem estar acompanhando também, né, no site e tal. Então, se vocês quiserem mandar alguma coisa aí.
That is, if you're going to be a kid and you're going to do violence, biting's the way to do it. And she finds out that the content of the syringe that she found in her mother's bedroom is morphine that she was not prescribed. Not great, Eduardo.
Not great. It's not the best.
Eles estão falando ainda da Astrid, né? Dela ter achado a morfina e tal na seringa.
We know that everything's safe. No, you're right. It is not great, though, to find morphine. After all, I mean, it makes sense to me, though. Like, Astrid's like, my father will take care of my mother, the person he loves, decided to spend the rest of his life with. And, something just went very, very, very wrong.
I was gonna say, Eduardo, I was just like nodding along with you because I trust you inherently as my partner here in the post show. And then you said the morphine makes sense to you, and I won't lie, that took me back a little bit. What do you mean? Should I be looking out for stray needles from Eduardo? What's going on? No, but you're right. These are complicated relationships that clearly have a lot of history, right? And we don't know that history yet. Though again, I stand by. I was pro Joy demanding the fire. I am pro Orson biting. I think if you're gonna do violence, be direct, right? I am not the poisoner of my friend group anyway. I'm more of a direct action kind of gal.
Well, that's the thing, right? But, I'm hoping that one of the things from, the Endurance scenes is that violence was directed towards the monsters, as we saw Toby there doing the good work. And you, the audience at home, attempting it didn't work. Toby's hope went down a bit, but that's okay. You get to keep doing more direct violence as you need it, as Layla has recommended to you, the audience at home, within the Silent Hill Ascension experience, by the way, please.
Yes, contained to the boxes in which we are speaking to you from, please.
Yes, of course. It's important. Remember,
eles estão falando que eles estão gostando, o pessoal tá tomando umas decisões mais violentas agora, né? As decisões, tipo, equilibrando as coisas, que tava só redenção antes.
Personally, I am hoping that things in Norway keep going very, very wrong, because that lets us discuss more with you and that lets you, the audience, be a little more entertained about it. But I think we talked about Norway a lot, and we should move things now to Pennsylvania. Again, we talked a little bit about this in the pre-show, but Layla is going to reintroduce you to our week 1 in Pennsylvania so far, and our production team's already thrown that on screen for you.
Yeah, closer again to our little corner of the world. So back in Pennsylvania, we've seen it, we know it. Joy meets a gruesome end during a botched ritual with Rachel Hernandez at the foundation. Her brother Toby finds out that she dies from his friend Eric, who is Rachel's husband, and sees then a delusion of his dead sister in the woods.
Pensilvânia, então, tipo, tudo isso foi na Pensilvânia? Não, né?
To the foundation, to that sturdy brownstone, where maybe they'll be safe, maybe they'll do more culty ritual stuff. You kind of don't know with Rachel. She's really up to stuff I don't know I approve of.
You said cults? You mean something else,
sorry,
right?
Pyramid-shaped self-improvement group. You're so correct.
That's okay. I just want to make sure our language is all aligned. It's very important here. But let's cut to the chase. The family drama here that I'm the most interested in, and I mean, seeing the drama from the audience as well, is definitely Toby and Joy. And one of the best parts about that whole drama is one of the characters in this situation is not alive.
I was gonna say, is it drama between Toby and Joy, or is it drama between Toby's idea of Joy?
Tá, eles estão dizendo aqui que
Because as we've covered, and as
o
we've
drama
seen
entre a
many,
Joy e o
many
irmão
times,
dela,
Joy
né?
is, pretty
É um drama
thoroughly gone.
dele e a ideia dele sobre ela, né? Porque ela aparece pra ele ali, só que
That's the thing, right? Is
não é
if
real,
Toby's
né?
perceiving his sister that way, that's a pretty aggressive take to have on a family member who passed away.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not all Joy up there, you know? It sounds like maybe it's a little bit of whatever Toby's got going on in his head, influencing his perception of other people, as we all tend to do, right? Everyone has
Ah, o cara questionou
associations
assim,
with others,
pô,
but
parece ser uma maneira meio agressiva de lidar com, sei lá, de ficar de luto por alguém, né? Apesar de o luto ser, enfim, cada um é cada um, né? Aí ela falou, cara, mas aí é o que tá rolando, é o que tá rolando, é o que tá na cabeça dele e tal, o que tá acontecendo, talvez ele esteja sendo influenciado. Então, alguma coisa do tipo. Eu tô gostando de ver a parte dele, eu quero saber o que vai acontecer. Eu acho até que legal quando a Joy aparece ali meio malvadona e tal. Acho interessante.
Here, I have been in the production pro Toby. I am pro sad, wet men. I do hope that he finds some sort of closure. Whether or not that's positive or negative for him, that's kind of up to the audience to decide. But, you know, something will close.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things, without delving too much into it, if you're talking about people who are in the middle of it, Eric kind of having very little power and just seeing everything crashing around him. But, you know, speaking of people who do have actual power, it's time to look at the choices that you, the audience, made so far. Now, our production team's going to, for some of the choices you made this past week, Layla's going to introduce us to this, and then we're going to talk about what you did.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we've done so far, which is what will Astra do with evidence of Carl's guilt? How will Rachel
Eles estão falando das escolhas que estão disponíveis agora.
And how will Astrid react to her son biting another child? So the audience here chose to lecture him. Astrid turned that syringe over to the police, and Rachel, she doubted, and that was on her. That wasn't very, again, self-improvement scheme of her.
No, that's one of the things. One of the key arcs of that first week for you, the audience, has been really the redemption path. A lot of you have latched onto the redemption path. It makes sense. You want to kind of see the
Eles estão falando que todos eles têm uma boa chance de redenção e tal, se a comunidade voltar a favor, né? Eu espero que o plot twist dessa série seja bom, sério, compense tudo que tá sendo de... Compense as outras coisas ruins que estão acontecendo aí.
As we go, the tension is rising. So very interesting here to see essentially how these characters are going to develop from this kind of we're trying our best start into a start that is a lot more conflicted.
Yeah, I am also curious because I mean, first week you're so right. First week we saw like a really strong wave of redemption, and that's not uncommon. You know, you kind of look at other metrics from other places.
Tá, eles estão falando que na primeira semana teve uma onda grande de redenção e tal, as escolhas boas, né, no caso que o pessoal escolheu.
Who engages with a lot of...
E agora tá mais equilibrado.
Such a goody two shoes. I cannot be mean to the pixels, right? But here in week 2, all of a sudden, we see the damnation wave. I think people are getting bolder, Eduardo.
No, for sure. There's a lot more boldness, but also it's because
Agora estão vendo uma onda de condenação, né?
and you're deciding to join along and
Legal que pelo menos eles colocam as pessoas carismáticas aqui pra falar. Eu gosto do pessoal que conversa.
coming down to the wire. So whoever you want, redemption or damnation, those are really the options going to week 2. Suffering, we'll probably maybe see as we go on, as the decisions get closer, as the characters get more nuanced, because you discover more about the characters as we go. Now, that said, it is time. Shanling Lai is ready in our back room, so we're gonna actually say goodbye to Layla. So Layla's gonna wave bye.
Agora eles estão indo.
It was a pleasure having you here.
E o chat não carrega, vamos dar 5 aqui.
Now, that said, I'm going to walk you through essentially the decision that kind of came up today as we wait for Shanling Lai to emerge from the fog. So it's how will Astrid handle Britt missing the funeral. So the options here are to either lecture her, which is a redemption path, beggar to come, which is suffering, or be understanding, which is damnation. Remember again that the thing with Brit is that there was something really egregious that happened. And because we don't know what that is, it's interesting that the redemption option is to essentially lecture her, and the damnation path is to be understanding. So we can only surmise at what that is. And I'm seeing, by the way, here that Shalling is getting ready, and I think we'll be able to.
Ele tá falando sobre a última escolha que ficou disponível pra gente.
Let's see if our production team can. There we go. Everybody in the audience.
Ela é da produção.
Introduce to all of you Sha-Ling Lai, our director of production, who's joining us for kind of a special conversation tonight. Sha-Ling, a great pleasure to have you on. We'll get that fixed in just a bit. Don't worry, audience at home, coming out of the fog.
Não tá saindo áudio dela.
Can you hear me?
There we go. The fog has cleared from your vocal cords, Sha-Ling. Glad to hear that.
It interferes a lot with signals. It does.
Yes. So that's perfect. So the thing is, we're delighted to have you here. I hope the audience at home, you appreciate this as well. Now, Sha-Ling, you're representing kind of our development team as our director of production, and you had a message for our audience, the community at home, as we kind of went through a kind of.
Ele tá perguntando se ela tem uma mensagem pra nós, espectadores, aí ela vai falar alguma coisa e eu vou tentar passar pra vocês.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging, and mostly I'm here to just acknowledge, like, hey, audience, we have definitely heard all of your feedback. E
audiência, ouvimos seus feedbacks sobre o dia 1. Definitivamente ouvimos que foi difícil para muitos de vocês se conectarem. Problemas de conexão, dados sendo perdidos. Só para ficarem cientes de que estamos ouvindo, né?
We really are grateful for the feedback.
Somos agradecidos pelo feedback honesto.
Whether it's positive or negative, again, we super appreciate it. And although we can't respond directly to everything, if you did reach out,
não podemos responder diretamente a tudo. Eles têm um time de suporte e tal.
And I'm here to talk a little bit about what kind of things we're going to be fixing, as well as what you guys can expect
algumas coisas que eles vão corrigir, é interessante. Atualizar e tal. Talvez me dá pontos de influência de graça, 14 mil, não sei de onde.
Yeah, all right. So you're going to have to forgive me because I'm going to have to look through the list that's already gotten pretty long. So one of the things hopefully people experience tonight is that we've improved the stability. So you should
melhoramos a estabilidade. Para melhorar a conexão, não perder dado e tal.
Folks who had trouble logging in should have a lot less of that now.
Tá, a perda de dados é tipo assim, você colocar pontos de influência em alguma decisão, não salvar, editar seu boneco, não salvar. Comprar alguma coisa, não salvar, fazer algum minigame e não contar, entendeu? Então não conseguir receber prêmios, essas coisas. Eles estão corrigindo isso daí.
Have been granted back to your accounts again. Anybody who's having issues, please let us know. Refunds are being processed. I think most of them we got through, but there's a few that are a little finicky, and it has to do with whether you paid on Google or Apple. Some of those need the platforms to also get involved, so just us can't solve it, although we are trying. The team's really trying very hard to do that for you guys.
O time está trabalhando muito duro para fazer isso tudo para vocês.
Moments should be active. That's something that people were a little bit confused about on day one. We have turned emoji back on, so I saw a lot of that go through. Thank you guys for engaging there, and then stickers are up.
Agradecendo por interagir com o chat.
Available to you. That was in response to folks saying, "Hey, we wanted to play a little bit more," and then. Coming up on Wednesday, there is new content coming into the Endure streams.
Ela falou que o pessoal tava pedindo pra jogar mais jogos, acho que ela deve... Não sei, eles vão liberar mais jogos a partir de hoje, parece.
Boss fight if the community can get to it. So I'm rooting for you guys. Hopefully we'll get to see it. I think it's a pretty cool moment. There's a great cameo in it. That's probably my favorite cameo. I want to spoil it, but I won't.
No. We shouldn't spoil anything here on the show. We already got enough. The thing is, tomorrow you can all practice as well one last time to make sure that on Wednesday you nail it. And speaking of Wednesday, actually, one of the big things with kind of the hosted show is we're actually going to have a segment in our post show to talk about some of these development updates. Make sure that all of you folks at home kind of get
esse é o e-mail que vocês podem estar enviando feedback, tá? De algum erro, algum bug, alguma coisa assim.
Like myself, Layla, and Noah, who you have seen previously, and we'll walk through what our development team is sharing with us to make sure that you get that. Of course, there'll be many more sources, and actually, Xiaoling, there are many more sources where people can both read about our updates, but also get in touch with us.
Yes, so people can reach out on social media. People can tune in here in the after show with you, the lovely hosted show team. Or you can email us at feedback@genvid.com. There is a human being reading those notes. We do have a lot, so please, again, bear with us as we
falando que é humano mesmo que tá lendo as coisas que mandam, não é robô filtrando nada.
Of what we're focusing on. So a little bit of like looking ahead, we still have some challenges with cross-platform. We're on PC and mobile, and sometimes connecting between the two, you might still have a little bit of issues there. There's still less common stability
Ela tá falando
issues,
que pode
so
ter problemas entre comunicação de plataformas, caso você tente entrar, sei lá, pelo celular, pelo computador, aí talvez a tua conta do computador tenha um problema para se comunicar com o celular, em salvar as coisas, é isso.
To bring the little popping heads back up so you can see how other people are doing as you're playing along with them. That is definitely one of the features I do enjoy when we play together on our tests. And then rallies is coming soon. I think we are close to getting that in the final QA so that we can roll it out for the community. That could make a big shift in terms of how decisions end. So it could be swinging pretty wildly on the back if people engage.
No, and thank you again so much, Xiaoling, for coming on and sharing those updates. For the audience at home, we wanted to have like kind of a quicker update tonight, but that's not the end of our time with Xiaoling in general. Next Friday, actually, we're going to interview Xiaoling so that we can learn more about her and her role within the product. But
gente, tá no final já da entrevista, ele tá falando que sexta-feira vai ter outra entrevista com ela pra gente ver o que foi melhorado e tudo mais, possíveis mudanças no futuro. Mas é basicamente isso daí, tá? Eu vou ficando por aqui. Espero que todo mundo tenha gostado aí da live. Não esquece de curtir a live, porque a entrega pra mais pessoas, você me ajuda demais, tá? Então compartilha, curte. E se quiser, se inscreve no canal aí. Eu falo. O foco do meu canal hoje tá no foco de jogos de terror. Eu faço uns vídeos de opiniões também, assim, sobre jogos e tudo mais. Fiz um vídeo recente falando sobre tudo que você precisaria saber pra começar a série e tudo mais, do Silent Hill Ascension. Tá lá, eu vou postar outros vídeos futuramente. Então é isso daí, eu tô trazendo live todos os dias, tá? No mesmo horário, assim. Hoje que não foi no mesmo horário porque começou uma hora mais tarde, mas sempre tô trazendo aí de Silent Hill Ascension enquanto tiver online aí até 6 meses, por 6 meses aí todo dia eu vou estar aqui. Então, é isso aí, tá? Valeu. Eu te agradeço demais. Valeu!